Okay, how do you know if you're in ketosis? This is a hard thing to quantify, right? It's like that mythological creature that's floating in the air. It's very difficult to be able to tell if you're in ketosis just based on I'm in. A lot of people run around saying that they're in ketosis because they either feel that they are, or they lost weight on the scale, or their ketone monitor said that they were. And I often say, no, you're not, because we're learning that ketogenesis, it goes in stages. It goes in steps, it goes in periods, and it goes in 3-month chunks. Now, some people who are metabolically sound might notice good numbers on their glucometer in the first 6 weeks. But after that, that's still low-level ketosis. The brain still has a propensity to want to go and use glucose because that's what it's been primed and conditioned to run off of. So even though it's like, okay, I'm trying out these ketones, that doesn't mean that your body is well equipped to constantly use them. The second that a stressor or a stress comes back into your life, the glucose spikes up again. A lot of people will start to say things like, I was in ketosis for 3 weeks and now I'm out. When in reality, they were never in. That's the 3-month chunk process. So it's very, very important that you guys do not get discouraged, because things that will make your blood glucose numbers jump around are poor sleep a few nights in a row that you're not even aware of. And that can be an emotional stress caused by something going on in your life. You know, often people are like, I've done everything I can do, and they don't understand why their numbers changed so dramatically in a negative way. And I'll be like, is there just any stress that you can think of? You're getting up at the right time, you know, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're eating your meals. And this one woman's like, contractors did start building next door, and it's starting to bug me. And I was like, that's it. So I spoke to another girl yesterday, young girl. Everything looks great. She's worked with me a few times. Her glucose numbers are still high. And we've been working together for 3-4 months. So her ketones are great. They're in that sweet spot zone of a 2.0 to 3, more like a 1.8 to about a 3.2. But her glucose is still in the 90s. So I was like, we were trying to like go through the process of elimination of what things could be a potential stress, because she had gotten her butt to bed by 10 and her sleep had improved and all of this. Her glucose had dropped over time, but not enough to get into a ketogenic zone. So I said, what's going on at home? She's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, is your family, because she was young, she's like girl going from 16 to 17 years of age, young girl. I was like, what's going on at home? She's like, I said, is the rest of your family doing keto? She's like, well, I'm an only child. My mom's an only child. My dad's an only child. And I live with my grandmother and my mom. And do they do keto? She's like, not only do they not do keto, but they really do the opposite of what I try to explain the importance of keto. Like she was talking about her grandmother using Crisco. I was like, great. This stuff is stressing you out. If you're sitting eating grass-fed butter and your grandmother's eating Crisco and it bothers you that she's doing that, and you're trying to get her to realize it's not 1973 anymore, it might be spiking your glucose. Because we had noticed the trend that her glucose numbers post-meals had dropped under the fasted number. That's what we want, guys. And not only should your glucose numbers drop under the AM fasted number, they really should be in a ketogenic range of under 80 milligrams per deciliter or 4.4 millimolar. And they had dropped. And not only did her glucose numbers drop post-meals in the afternoon, later in the day, which is what it's supposed to do to develop good functioning pancreas, it would also drop post-workouts. And I said, bingo, that's it. Your glucose stress did come from a lot of things prior. But now it's not breaking under the 90s because of the internal stress and the poor sleep from what happens after 5 p.m. with the circadian cycle. When the sun goes down, instead of getting into that parasympathetic state of rest and digest, you're zinged up. Even though you're trying to meditate and breathe and go to bed early, what's going on in the family home is bugging you. Well, she's like agreeing in the context that she actually told everybody to leave the home so she could have her consultation. And I said, if you're telling your grandmother, get out of the entire house for a consultation that can be done in a room with the door shut, then this stuff, as much as you love your family, guys, they can get under your skin, and that can affect your numbers, so you're not adapting. This particular young girl, her health had improved exponentially, but it came down to the body fat that she was trying to get rid of. So this is just a short little reminder that your glucometer numbers can be subjective. And even if your glucose is high and you don't know why am I not keto adapting? I'm going to title the video that, right? Because I'm just freestyling it. Why am I not keto adapting? Client stories. These are some stories to consider. I just spoke to a young guy right now who hasn't started keto, but he works 7 days a week, 2 jobs, and the only time that he can work out is after 9 p.m. And I said, you're not going to adapt. You're not. And this young guy who's 26 is like, I've dieted, I've done bodybuilder diets, I've done a lot of cardio, I've lifted heavy, I've hired trainers, and I'm not a big guy, but I can't get rid of the body fat at 26. So we spoke about xenoestrogens. We talked about qualities of meats, guys, because when you're eating red meats injected with hormones, it has an estrogenic effect, unfortunately. It kind of blunts your testosterone. Production. These are things to consider why you're not adapting. I also talked about that estrogen makes more fat cells make more estrogen, and it's this negative loop. So there's a lot of things that you need to consider on why either your glucose numbers are not dropping into a ketogenic range. Essentially, if your glucose numbers are up, so is your insulin. Insulin is a fat-storing hormone. It is not a fat-burning hormone. That does push amino acids into the muscle cells. So if you're insulin sensitive from keto, then that small amount of insulin, which is now not storing a lot of fat because it's a small amount, does a big job by getting amino acids into the muscle, but the insulin is low enough not to store. That's ketogenesis. Or if you do a low-carb, high-fat protocol where you manage your blood sugar to be stable without big spikes and crashes, which also creates a storage effect. So if you guys want to learn more, how to keto adapt, how to get, boom, the business. I've been doing this stuff for a couple years now, as you guys know. I have a ton of videos. So funny when people click on the first videos, they're like, you're an idiot, you're stupid. I was actually just really excited. I didn't have a lot of the in-between information, but now at almost 2,000 clients and thousands upon thousands of people contacting me, I've learned a lot. So I've got my PhD from you guys. And it works. It works. I'm strict for a reason. At almost 50, you probably will not find another keto coach, and these are big quotations. Let's use hands as quotation. Quotes. You probably won't find another one as in the shape that I'm at the age that I'm at. I'll be 50 next year. How's that for size? With a busted knee from being a pro skateboarder. Yeah, so if you guys want to learn more, you can go to stephanieperson.com. I now have keto plans. I am pushing them. I am being a capitalist in this context because I am tired of using crappy video quality and no one to help me film. A lot of you guys are like, what do you eat all day? What do you think? Can you show us a day in the life? Workouts, a lot of things that I'm trying to do, seminars, webinars, books. I need to be able to have time to create better content. So I worked real hard on the downloadable books. You can go to my website, which is stephanieperson.com. I'm still doing consultations for now. I will stop doing it and focus on better content. Also, I do live broadcasts at Stephanie, or, all right, I admit it, I have too many social media names, but I didn't think about it when I started it up. Steph the Business, Bizness. You can go to my Periscope and ask questions live. I don't really sell things, I'm just more talking about health, although I might mention my diets and consultations to better the content. Otherwise, it's just me talking and answering questions. Or you can go to Stephanie the Business on my Facebook fan page, or Stephanie Ketogenic on my Instagrammy to see things like fun trips in South Africa, where I was able to talk to Professor Noakes and to the Banting community and Jono Proudfoot and talking about the Real Meal Revolution. Those guys are awesome, so check them out online. And I'm starting to do little talks and seminars around the world, so watch out, Steph is coming. She's coming, and I'm starting to write an ebook on the basics on how to keto adapt, because I got this. I got this. Peace, guys. Yeah, because I got some